For the second day, Bollywood actor Rhea Chakraborty was grilled by the Narcotics Control Bureau. The NCB is probing Rhea's alleged links with the drug cartel. This after her brother Shobik was arrested for buying drugs on Friday. Rhea revealed in her interrogation that Sushant Singh Rajput had been addicted to ganja since 2016. She accepts buying drugs but says these weren't for her but for her late boyfriend. Here's our lead story tonight, and when we come back, I'll show you that big explosive India Today investigation which will unravel a lot of the lies that have been repeated in the SSR case so very often. Take a look at our lead story first.
Rhea Chakraborty, the prime accused in Sushant Singh Rajput's death case, is questioned for the second day by the Narcotics Control Bureau. And at the end of questioning on Monday that lasted more than 8 hours, Rhea was allowed to go home. The arrest that was expected did not take place. Rhea, however, is not off the hook. She is summoned for a third round of questioning on Tuesday.
रिया चक्रवर्ती को नियमानुसार घर भेज दिया गया है. उनको कल सुबह वापस बुलाया गया. इंट्रोगेशन कल कंटिन्यू किया जाएगा.
India Today has inside details of the grilling that took place on Monday. Sources say Rhea broke down when confronted with her younger brother Shobik, who is already in NCB's custody. Shobik too broke down. In a stunning revelation, Rhea informed NCB officials that Sushant hooked on to ganja in 2016 during the shooting of his movie Kedarnath. Sources say Rhea claimed that the late actor made her send messages to procure drugs. Sources tell India Today that Narcotics Control Bureau questioned Rhea on many angles. It asked her if she was involved in selling drugs, if she used to consume drugs, did she use to spike Sushant's drinks with drugs, and if she supplied drugs to Bollywood through her brother Shobik. In a new twist, Rhea has filed a police complaint against Sushant's sister Priyanka Singh. Rhea claims that despite knowing Sushant was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, Priyanka got medicines prescribed for him through a doctor not qualified to deal with mental health issues.
During second day of her questioning, Rhea Chakraborty once again denied the allegations that she has ever consumed drugs, and also she goes on to say that it was Sushant Singh Rajput who was consuming drugs. But NCB sources have told India Today that on third day of her questioning, she might face arrest because they have enough evidence against Rhea Chakraborty. With camera person Prashant Bhatt, this is Munish Pandey in Mumbai for India Today.
Let's quickly cut across to the press conference being held live by Sushant Singh Rajput's family lawyer Vikas Singh.
8 जून को ही देख लिया था कि ये प्रिस्क्रिप्शन अगर वो भेज रही थी बहन, अगर 8 जून को ही भेज दिया था प्रिस्क्रिप्शन उनके पास और दवाइयों का नाम भेज दिया था, तो फिर सडनली इनको व्हाट्सएप मैसेज आज क्यों दिखाई दे रहा है और आज क्यों कंप्लेंट कर रही हैं? तीसरी बात कि जो ये गाइडलाइंस की बात कर रही है उस कंप्लेंट में, टेली कंसल्टेशन गाइडलाइंस, ये टेली कंसल्टेशन गाइडलाइंस मेडिकल काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया की गाइडलाइंस, इस गाइडलाइंस के बेसिस में कोई एफआईआर या कोई कंप्लेंट दर्ज नहीं हो सकता. इस गाइडलाइन के अंतर्गत जो इन्होंने जो भी कंप्लेंट करने की कोशिश की है वो बिल्कुल मेंटेनेबल नहीं है. मतलब उसका पुलिस इस मामले में पुलिस का कोई जुरिस्डिक्शन नहीं बनता इस मामले में. तो इसलिए ये जो कंप्लेंट है इसको एक तरह से ये कंप्लेंट खुद ही एक ऑफेंस है, क्योंकि 182 धारा में आईपीसी में अगर कोई कंप्लेंट करता है किसी पुलिस अधिकारी को, उस पुलिस अधिकारी से एक गलत तरीके का इन्वेस्टिगेशन कराने के लिए या एक ऐसा इन्वेस्टिगेशन कराने के लिए जिस पुलिस अधिकारी को जिस पे कोई अधिकार नहीं हो, तो वो भी पनिशेबल है आईपीसी धारा 182 में और 6 महीने की उसमें सजा है. इसलिए ये जो कोशिश है इस मामले को, इस इन्वेस्टिगेशन को गुमराह करने की और एक ये अपने आप को बचाने की और ये दिखाने की कि कोई इसमें बहनों की तरफ से या किसी और की तरफ से कोई गलती हुई है, वो बिल्कुल बेबुनियाद है. और ये कोई इनकी जो कोशिश है इस मामले को डिफ्लेक्ट करने की और इस मामले को सही इन्वेस्टिगेशन से डिरेल करने की, वो बिल्कुल सक्सेसफुल नहीं हो सकता. और इसीलिए मैंने समझा कि इस बारे में बात करना जरूरी है. today I have been given a complaint filed by Rhea Chakraborty in the Bandra police. The complaint clearly firstly exhibits that this is an effort to keep the jurisdiction of Mumbai police alive in this matter, when the Supreme Court very clearly has said in the judgment that if there is any complaint with regard to the death of Sushant Singh Rajput, that also will be investigated by the CBI. So this is a clear attempt to somehow keep the Mumbai police alive in this matter, so that they can do some mischief and ensure that there is the family of Sushant Singh Rajput does not get justice in this matter. The complaint itself has inconsistency, because in the first part of the complaint she says that she had seen that Priyanka was advising him to take some medicine which was not in sync with the prescription that she had got for Sushant, and that is why she left the household. But suddenly in the end of the complaint she says that she has come to know now about these WhatsApp messages. Lastly, this is not a cognizable offence at all for the police to even accept this complaint. A complaint should not have even been accepted by the police, because for any complaint to be accepted by the police, it has to disclose the commission of a cognizable offence. Firstly, this is not an offence at all. This is at best the tele-consultation guideline of the Medical Council of India. And Medical Council of India, and this complaint made to the police clearly is without jurisdiction, because the police has no right to decide whether the tele-consultation guideline has been properly adhered to or not. So in that sense also this complaint is clearly without jurisdiction and without any...
Now, the one principal charge that's been repeated ad nauseum by the family lawyer of Sushant Singh Rajput is that the late actor's girlfriend Rhea Chakraborty siphoned off 15 crore rupees from Sushant Singh Rajput's bank account. The reason that they say this is because early this year, Sushant apparently met with his sister and brother-in-law at a cafe in Bandra in Mumbai, and he was really excited about the fact that he'd signed a new movie, that 15 crore rupees had come in, and that his life would start looking up again. Now, this charge is predicated on the premise that the 15 crore rupees went into Sushant's bank account. But did they really? Only two people know. One is Vashu Bhagnani, the producer. The other is Rumi Jaffrey, the film director. Now, Rumi is a well-known Bollywood writer, penned multiple films, and now is a director as well. Now, he is the film director who apparently signed up Sushant Singh Rajput. He's been called in for questioning by the investigating agencies, but hadn't spoken out in public. What you're about to see on India Today's Newstrack for the first time is the Bollywood film director who apparently paid 15 crore rupees to Sushant Singh Rajput, the same 15 crore rupees which Rhea apparently stole from Sushant's account, revealed to us what really happened to those mysterious 15 crores. Did Sushant ever get that money in his account? Here, for the first time, from the horse's mouth. This is an India Today exclusive.
A mysterious death, the drug angle, and 15 crore rupees gone missing allegedly. Sushant Singh Rajput's family has accused his girlfriend of siphoning off the actor's money. The alleged amount is linked to a proposed film project of writer-director Rumi Jaffrey and producer Vashu Bhagnani featuring Sushant and Rhea. According to her, it was all verbal and nothing was put on paper.
वाशु सर जो हमारे प्रोड्यूसर थे वाशु भगनानी और रूमी सर के साथ एक मीटिंग हुई थी जिसमें वाशु भगनानी ने सर ने सुशांत को कहा था उनकी म्यूचुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग में I think the amount was 15 crores that was decided. And सुशांत इस बात से काफी खुश था और ये फरवरी के महीने में हुआ. ऑन पेपर कुछ साइन नहीं हुआ, ये वर्बल अग्रीमेंट था जिससे सब लोग खुश थे. पर अनफॉर्चुनेटली लॉकडाउन हो गया था उसके बाद एंड हम लोग मई में शुरू करने वाले थे. कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वर्क मार्च अप्रैल में शुरू हो जाता जो पोस्टपोन हो गया, जिस वजह से कोई भी ट्रांजैक्शन उनके बीच में भी नहीं हुआ.
India Today has probed these claims. Our investigative reporter reached out to Rumi Jaffrey. The writer-director is being questioned by multiple agencies in connection with the Sushant case. Our probe centered around one key question. Did he or did he not pay Sushant Singh Rajput for his film? Listen in to what Rumi Jaffrey reveals.
सर, तो एग्रीमेंट आप लोग की साइन हो गई थी क्या उसमें सुशांत के साथ?
आपका तो इसीलिए नाम आया था ना कि आप फिल्म कर रहे थे. हाँ, फिल्म का.
तो सर ट्रांजैक्शन जो 15 करोड़ की 18 करोड़ की बात आ गई है.
दुनिया में इंडस्ट्री में तुम भी हो. हाँ, ये फिल्म में जब 15 करोड़ कोई प्रोड्यूसर किसी हीरो को मतलब बोल जा, किसी को दे नहीं सकता. और एक साथ तो बात ही अलग, साइनिंग अमाउंट नहीं, पूरा प्राइस ही नहीं हो. जो एफआईआर लिखा गया था ना उसमें ये था कि 15 करोड़ रुपए हेरफेर है. ठीक है, अब वो पता चला कि एक फिल्म साइन हो रही थी जो वाशु भगनानी और आपका नाम जो हो नहीं पाई. हाँ, लेकिन ये था कि शायद उसके पैसे मिल गए. एग्रीमेंट ही साइन नहीं हुआ. किस्मत था, वो क्या था, लॉकडाउन हो गया. हाँ, लेकिन आप लोगों ने कोई पैसे नहीं दिए. नहीं, एग्रीमेंट साइन नहीं हुआ.
Unaware he's being filmed, Rumi Jaffrey of God You Are Great fame insisted no formal agreement was signed with Sushant Singh Rajput for a proposed film featuring him and Rhea. According to him, paying 15 crore rupees was out of the question. Rumi Jaffrey explained payments in general are made in installments.
चाहे राइटर हो, चाहे हीरो हो, चाहे हीरोइन हो, चाहे कोई भी, उसका जो अमाउंट अगर तय हो गया, जैसे मेरा तय हो गया कि भाई रूमी जाफरी को 100 रुपये मिले, तो उसमें फिर ये होता है मोड ऑफ पेमेंट, जिसमें होता है कि भाई आपको 5 रुपये साइनिंग अमाउंट मिलेगा. मैं बोलूँगा नहीं यार थोड़ा ज़्यादा दो, वो ज़्यादा नहीं कोई, अरे 10% तो दो यार, अरे यानी पिक्चर शुरू होने को ले लेना, है ना. फिर होता है कि प्री प्रोडक्शन पे 5% मिलेगा, फिर फर्स्ट शेड्यूल पे इतना मिलेगा, फिर सेकंड शेड्यूल पे इतना मिलेगा, फिर इतना डबिंग पे मिलेगा, फिर इतना रिलीज पे मिलेगा. एक साथ एक मुश्त कभी पैसा नहीं मिलता किसी को भी नहीं. तो ये भी इसमें आ रहा था कि सुशांत हीरोइन और अब रिया को हीरोइन कर. वाली फिल्म जो है इसमें रिया है.
The Enforcement Directorate is struggling to locate the suspected money trail. According to official sources, no concrete evidence of the alleged misappropriation has emerged so far. With Mohammad Hizbullah and Arvind Ojha in Mumbai, this is India Today's special investigation team.
What you just heard is very, very, very significant, and that's because the director, who apparently paid the 15 crore rupees to Sushant Singh Rajput, just revealed to our viewers on India Today that that money was never paid. In fact, what he says is so logical that never does an actor get the entire money front up. When a decision is taken to make a film, you get a signing amount, and then you get it in tranches as the film progresses. And you've had, for the past several weeks, on many Banana Republic channels, again and again the charge being leveled that she stole 15 crore rupees, that she's a thief, that she was siphoning off money from Sushant Singh Rajput's bank accounts. But if that money was never paid, then what is she accused of having stolen? Joining me on the Newstrack is Kanika Sadanan, actor and lawyer. Sunil Shukla is a director and a friend of Sushant Singh Rajput. Umakant Mishra is a former additional director of the Narcotics Control Bureau. YP Singh is an activist and a well-known Mumbai police officer. Namrata Kanodia is a financial forensics expert. She worked with the India Today reporting team to help analyze the bank account details of Sushant Singh Rajput, which were in the public domain. So I want to go across to Namrata Kanodia first. If you can give our viewers your sense, Namrata, of what was in Sushant's bank accounts. You had an opportunity to go through those accounts, you analyzed them over 72 hours. Give our viewers a sense of what you found in them.
So, basically we found 10 months bank statement of Sushant Singh Rajput, and we realized that there was he was generous with his spending. Like there was many personal things he was spending in luxurious manner. Other than that, we could not see any diversion of fund to anyone like Rhea or her family. But yes, there were more of personal expenditures.
Okay. So, A, there is no inflow of 15 crore rupees. So, the charge of having stolen the 15 crore rupees, Kanika Sadanand, simply doesn't arise. And if you look at the manner in which this entire story is being covered by Banana Republic, it almost makes it seem as if the money has been siphoned off. Now you've got the director who's part of the duo that's bringing this film together, revealing to India today for the first time that no money was paid.
So Rahul, I've been a part of the industry for 35 years, and what Rumi sir has said, Rumi ji ne jo kaha, it's absolutely correct. Nobody gets money upfront. You get a signing amount, and then in phases as the film progresses and until the release. Sometimes it's kept until release, sometimes until dubbing, and then you get the final amount. And what he said is right. 15 crores. At that point of time, unfortunately for Sushant Singh, that his last film had made 100 crores, but I doubt whether Vashu Bhagnani ji, who's a very astute businessman, would have offered 15 crores at that time. But anyway, that's
not the point, Kanika. One second. What the offer was and whether that's paid or not, we don't know. Let's just assume that the offer was made at face value. You've got Rhea Chakraborty in the interview we did with her confirming that an offer was made. You've got the family saying that 15 crore rupees was something Sushant spoke about. Now you've got the director, the person who would know that money is being paid because ultimately it's his film along with Vashu Bhagnani. Vashu Bhagnani also we tried to speak to. He apparently is in Scotland shooting for another film. But the director tells us that the 15 crore rupees was never paid. So how could Rhea Chakraborty have stolen the money?
Absolutely. Which is why I'm saying that the ED, they've been doing the investigations for so long, if they had found that money or they found it had been transferred, they would have mentioned it, and no such thing has happened. So as I'm saying, as we're sitting here, I want to tell you that in the last few debates that I've been doing, abetment to suicide, money laundering, squandering of the money or whatever, nothing has been proved against Rhea. But unfortunately, I like the name you've given, Banana Republic. These channels, they keep misconstruing the words, keep giving credit to CBI for giving this information, that information, when CBI had to come out themselves and say, we have not given any information, please don't misquote us. And they keep repeating. Unfortunately, the public is believing some of this nonsense.
No, but that's the problem. This is exactly what Hitler's propaganda chief Goebbels used to do. Lie repeatedly, lie aggressively, and because he lied so frequently, people started believing that lie. That lie needs to be called out. YP Singh, what are you making of this investigation based on a statement made by the man who literally is the horse's mouth in this case? It's Rumi Jaffrey who would know about the money being paid. He says it was a verbal assurance, no money was paid, then there was a lockdown, that deal never went through, the film never started getting shot, and therefore no money was paid. So what did she steal? YP Singh.
Yes, I think Rahul, your investigations reveal a lot, and that should be followed by certain consequences. Now it is apparent that a false complaint was made by Rhea's father. When we look behind, it could be for the intention of usurping the Mumbai police jurisdiction to devolve on Bihar police. And since a false complaint has been made, and Rhea today has filed a counter FIR in respect of narcotics case, she should continue with her disposition. And tomorrow itself, I think Rhea should be called upon to file a complaint under 211 of the Indian Penal Code against Sushant's father for having lodged a false FIR, and until a remedy is invoked with reference to a violation, the rule of law will not prevail. So I think, Rahul, your investigations should clearly lead to Rhea moving ahead and filing a counter case against Sushant's father for lodging a false FIR.
You know, you're saying that she needs to get aggressive, and you know, there's some people who asked me, are you on Sushant Singh Rajput's side? Are you on Rhea Chakraborty's side? The job of a journalist is not to be on somebody's side. The job of a journalist is to look at the facts dispassionately and report those facts. What I'm saying may sound radical, but actually it is not. It's the fundamental tenet of good journalism. If you decide that you're in XYZ's camp, then you will view the world only from that perspective. Here was a charge, and when we went to Rumi Jaffrey, we had absolutely no idea what he would say. Maybe he would have said, yes, 15 crore rupees was paid, and yes, Rhea then stole that money. But he says instead that the money was never paid, in which case, if the money was never paid, there's no question of it having been stolen. Now, are all the Banana Republic channels going to apologize for all the lies that they've churned out again and again, night after night? What are you saying, YP Singh?
Rahul, Rhea should take action against these Banana Republic channels, the yellow channels, which I call them. And unless until this is done, the respect of the media before the society shall not get redeemed.
Well, that's really for Rhea to look at. You know, we're not into advising her. What she does is for her to look at and for her legal team to look at. We're putting out the facts as they are in the public domain. And Sunil Shukla has been coming out very strongly and batting for Sushant Singh Rajput's family. Now, that whole charge was predicated around the idea that Vashu Bagnani, Rumi Jaffrey paid 15 crore rupees and that Rhea Chakraborty stole that money. Now you've just heard from the director himself, no less, that the money was never paid. If the money was never paid, it couldn't potentially have been stolen.
We're not talking about Jaffrey paying money. We are talking about the money which was already there in Sushant Singh Rajput account. Now the ED, which has done investigation in Quant Talent Management, where they have found that 22 lakh rupees, Sushant has paid 62 lakh to the talent company, and in return, the kickback was paid to Rhea Chakraborty. That was after his death. That money has already been flown to
once
her
again,
account.
let's just deal Sunil Shukla with the 15 crore, because I have the FIR copy, the Bihar Police FIR copy, and this is an FIR filed by Sushant Singh Rajput's family. It expressly mentions 15 crore rupees being stolen, siphoned off from Sushant's bank account. Now we've just proven that the 15 crore rupees which Sushant told his family he received, he never got. Now from 15 crores you've come down to 20 lakhs.
No, I'll tell you, you're mixing two things. We're not talking about Jaffrey paying money, which is going to be post after, which definitely that would be given in a period, in a slab-wise or during the shooting period. I'm talking about the money which he already earned, like in MS Dhoni, which movie he did, which went super hit, which made a net profit 112 crore rupees. There are other movies which has been successful. Don't you think he didn't receive any money from that? He received money, though we are not saying the 15 crore together was removed. It was siphoned out. It was siphoned every different time. So we are talking about the one which ED has already investigated, and they have found 62 lakh rupees, which was paid by Sushant Singh Rajput, and that money, 22 lakh, was taken by Rhea Chakraborty. That's very much on record. You cannot deny that. I'm not saying the entire 15 crore in one go was removed.
Okay, so at least now we're not talking about 15 crore rupees. We are down to 20 lakhs. No. That's one concession that you're making, because the FIR expressly talks about 15 crore rupees being siphoned from Sushant's bank account. If that money never went in, and remember, there is this meeting which Sushant had with his sister and his brother-in-law, who's a cop. In that meeting, he apparently told the family that life is looking up because I've signed a big film and I'm getting 15 crore rupees, or I've got 15 crore rupees. I wasn't there, I don't know what he said, but the family went away with the impression that he now has 15 crores in his bank, which they, when they checked the accounts, clearly found YP Singh that money to be missing. And therefore, they pressed the panic button, they went to the police, they filed this complaint that the 15 crores had been stolen by Rhea Chakraborty, and this investigation shows that that money never came. Now the likes of Sunil Shukla, instead of charging Rhea with siphoning of 15 crore rupees, are saying 15 crore chodo 20 lakh to liye isne.
Presenting it. No. What I'm trying to say is, he's talking about the other income which he earned out.
To discover the trail of money.
Jaffrey income.
Very simple matter. And ED, CBI, all have endeavored so hard to find the money trail which even a novice would have found. And since there was no money trail, nothing was found. Obviously, Sushant's father filed a false FIR.
Okay, I want to go across to Umakant Mishra. He's been with the Narcotics Control Bureau. The Narcotics Control Bureau questioning Rhea Chakraborty yet again. There was great buzz about her potential arrest. That hasn't happened. She's been called in again on Tuesday for another round of investigation. Mr. Mishra, you've seen all of what is in the public domain so far. What do you make of the strength of the charges against Rhea Chakraborty, and do you believe that this is compelling grounds for first arrest and later a conviction?
You see, with the arrest of Anuj Keswani and a fresh bout of seizure of drugs, the game is changed. Up to so far, whatever the drugs were seized were falling under the small quantity thing. So the punishment arising out of that particular offense were very minimal, about 6 months. Even people who will take the defense of addiction would have easily got away by going to a hospital or a correction center. But what has happened yesterday with the seizure of the drugs in commercial quantity from Anuj Keswani, particularly the 0.6 grams of LSD, what is claimed in the newspapers, I came to know through the newspapers, that is definitely much more than the commercial quantity. So with this commercial quantity seizure, I think the pressure on the participants in this drug smuggling racket will increase, and there will be a whole set of new legal consequences. The punishment will be minimum 10 years, maximum that will go up to 20 years. The other thing is that this will eminently make the case suitable for considering preventive detention and also asset seizure and forfeiture.
No, I'm asking you specifically about the strength of the charges against Rhea Chakraborty, not Anuj Keswani. Rhea Chakraborty has apparently told the NCB that yes, she did procure drugs, but those were for her boyfriend Sushant Singh Rajput. She denies having consumed the drugs herself. We don't know whether that's true or not, but that's what she's telling the NCB.
Yeah, Rahul, I get your point. Point is, what I was trying to emphasize is, basically what has started the investigation is the group chat of dealing and supplying and procuring and distribution of drugs. That is why the NCB has invoked 29, which is abatement and conspiracy. So once the conspiracy angle is there, whatever is the crime, whatever the punishment for the crime, the principal crime, whosoever is the participant in that crime will get the same amount of punishment. So far, the seizures, whatever happened, were in small quantities. That's what I was trying to get at. Now with the seizure, once they link all the role to a conspiratorial role with this commercial quantity of seizure, the game changes. The pressure changes. So that is a very significant development.
No, but remember, YP Singh, and what is crucial is, okay, so there are certain leads that seem to suggest that those in the house were in the business of procuring drugs. Now, who consumed them needs to be probed, but there are messages that suggest that drugs were being bought and sold. The point, YP Singh, is we started off with Bollywood nepotism, it moved to an ISI link, it moved to she's definitely murdered Sushant Singh Rajput, and then the 15 crore rupee financial fraud, and now it's down to having consumed drug. Now, how you link the consumption of drug with the murder of Sushant Singh Rajput is a whole different matter. Basically, the lady now is charged with being part of some kind of a drug consumption, possibly peddling racket.
Rahul, this is essentially a witch hunting exercise, and the precedents which you have talked about, they prove my apprehension. Now, in the backdrop of a witch hunting exercise, if NCB registers a case without any physical seizure of drugs alleged to have been consumed, there is no case at all. And secondly, even if we take what Narcotics Control Bureau at its face value, even then what it maximum suggests that Rhea and others helped Sushant to consume drug for self-consumption. They were not traders of drugs. They were not really indulging in procuring and distributing drugs in a trade for the purpose of carrying trade. They were just getting drugs for Sushant's self-consumption, which again is a very, very small offense. It's a bailable offense, and generally punishment is up to the rising of the court for 1 day imprisonment. And that's all That's how can
But
be proved
Kanika
in this
Sadanand,
building until
when
it's
you
right.
look at the charge of consumption and procurement of drugs, you have to bear in mind that the original charge was murder. The original charge was of siphoning of 15 crore rupees. That's what this case has been about. Now, because you didn't find any evidence of murder, because you couldn't so far find any evidence of financial fraud, therefore you are trying to prosecute on the basis of apparently having consumed and procured drugs.
Absolutely, and you're changing the goalpost every 2 days. Every 2 days you're coming up with some news. She was called a witch, she was an embezzler, she was a gold digger, and now she's become a drug peddler who used to get drugs for her boyfriend. And as we all know that Indian women, or not only Indian women, women can go to any length for the people they love. And I truly believe that, and I do know that Sushant used to smoke weed when he was doing shooting for Kedarnath. Some of the unit members have told us, and a lot of people know about it. So I truly believe that probably he was in the habit of having this ganja, and she tried to get it for him because that was out of her dedication or love. Maybe it was wrong, maybe it was not legal, but women do a lot of things for people they love. Now, what are you going to frame her with?
Now Sunil Shukla, see the way it started. Nepotism in Bollywood killed Sushant Singh Rajput. No, there's an ISI link. That's what killed Sushant Singh Rajput. No, he was murdered by Rhea Chakraborty. No, there was a big financial fraud. Now, she procured drugs for Sushant Singh Rajput. Now, how do you link that to his death?
Now he's saying
he was murdered. Definitely he was murdered. Reason why? I'll tell you. Let me speak. Let me speak. Thank you. Now I'll tell you what happened when Sushant was staying with this old. Sushant was staying with the old servant. When she came into his life, the old servant were removed. Reason why? They were reporting to the parents. He just got up or he's gone to gym. He's having protein shake. This is being cooked. So the moment she came to his life, the servants were removed because this servant were reporting to the parents and to the sisters. Second thing she did, she winded up the old accountant. He was out. Because here if we're talking about money trailing, she needs to have a person of her own. She got an accountant of her own. And there you can see the talent, I'm talking Quant Talent Management Company, where you can see that was introduced by Shruti Modi. And who's the talent manager? Jia Shah, who's very much known to Rhea Chakraborty. And the money which has gone inside, 62 lakh, out of that 22 lakh has been given as a kickback. So can't you see there's a conspiracy of taking the money out? Second, nobody has seen Sushant Singh Rajput hanging.
You see?
He was never hanged. He was never hanged. He was killed. And these are the people who have been planted by Rhea Chakraborty. Come on. You can't say that she was in love. Come on, if you're in love.
No, in fact, when the CBI and before that the Mumbai police questioned those who were in the house of Sushant Singh Rajput, they said that they had been in the household since before Rhea Chakraborty entered Sushant Singh Rajput's life. This is a fact.
Incorrect.
By your shaking your head very aggressively and saying incorrect doesn't change the fact on the ground.
Incorrect. I'll tell you. She was the one who got this inside. Now, who was the house manager? Who was the house manager? Come on, tell me the name of the house manager.
That's Anil Malanda.
Who got it? Who got it?
Okay, let Kanika Sadanand respond to this. This is absurd.
Sunilji, did it?
Who was Siddharth Pitani?
Sunilji.
I would request you to go to the Instagram account of Rhea Chakraborty.
Sunilji, can I
all
reply
the
to you,
content of Rhea Chakraborty had been courtesy been written by Siddharth Pitani. Sushant
I want to answer. Okay, we got your point.
Siddharth Pitani was staying with Sushant Singh Rajput since much earlier than Rhea Chakraborty entered his life. That's a fact that Siddharth Pitani refers to. Rhea refers to it as well. Sunil Shukla, you can't ramble on like this. Give everyone a fair chance. You've spoken. Let Kanika Sadanand counter you. Let Kanika Sadanand speak. Fader goes down. Kanika.
Sunilji, did it ever occur to you that probably a 34-year-old boy or a man did not want to be spied upon by his parents and told everything that what is being cooking, who's coming, who's going, what he's doing? He could have probably wanted the staff to be changed. And maybe Rhea, when she came into his life, empowered him with so much love and so much affection that he had the guts to do that he had the guts to cut the umbilical cord. Does it ever occur to you that these kind of things also happen in real life?
You know, the story that we've broken on the Newstrack is generating massive traction because this is for the first time that one charge that's been leveled repeatedly, that Rhea Chakraborty stole 15 crore rupees from Sushant's bank account, has fallen flat on its face. And I want to play out the key excerpts from that conversation with Rumi Jaffrey, the director of the film that they were to make, a film that because of the COVID-19 pandemic never got off the ground, money was never paid into his account, and this is not just a claim made by Rhea Chakraborty herself, who's now under fire, but also substantiated and validated by the director who was apparently putting this film together. Here is Rumi Jaffrey. Listen to him once again.
सर तो एग्रीमेंट आप लोग की साइन हो गई थी क्या उसमें? सुशांत के
आपका तो इसीलिए नाम आया था ना कि आप फिल्म कर रहे थे।
हाँ, फिल्म का।
तो सर ट्रांजैक्शन जो 15 करोड़ की 18 करोड़ की जो बात आ गई है
दुनिया में इंडस्ट्री में तुम भी हो, ये फिल्म में जब 15 करोड़ कोई प्रोड्यूसर किसी हीरो को मतलब को भूल जा, किसी को दे नहीं सकता। और एक साथ तो बात ही अलग, साइनिंग अमाउंट नहीं, पूरा प्राइस ही नहीं हो।
जो एफआईआर लिखा गया था ना, उसमें ये था कि 15 करोड़ रुपए हेरफेर है, ठीक है। अब वो पता चला कि एक फिल्म साइन हो रही थी जो वासु भगनानी और आपका नाम
जो हो नहीं पाई।
हाँ, लेकिन ये था कि शायद उसके पैसे मिल गए,
एग्रीमेंट साइन नहीं हुआ। किस्मत था, वो क्या था, लॉकडाउन हो गया ना।
लेकिन आप लोगों ने कोई पैसे नहीं दिए।
नहीं, हमारा एग्रीमेंट साइन नहीं हुआ। चाहे आप डायरेक्टर हो, चाहे हीरो हो, चाहे हीरोइन हो, चाहे कोई भी, उसका जो अमाउंट अगर तय हो गया, जैसे मेरा तय हो गया कि रूबी जाफरी को 100 रुपये मिले, तो उसमें फिर ये होता है मोड ऑफ पेमेंट, जैसे होता है कि भाई आपको 5 रुपये साइनिंग अमाउंट मिलेगा। मैं बोलूँगा नहीं यार थोड़ा ज़्यादा दो, वो ज़्यादा नहीं, अरे 10% तो दो यार, अरे यानी पिक्चर शुरू होने को ले लेना, है ना। फिर होता है कि प्री प्रोडक्शन पे 5% मिलेगा, फिर फर्स्ट शेड्यूल पे इतना मिलेगा, फिर सेकंड शेड्यूल पे इतना मिलेगा, फिर इतना डबिंग पे मिलेगा, फिर इतना रिलीज पे मिलेगा।
एक साथ एक मुश्त कभी पैसा नहीं मिलता
किसी को भी नहीं।
अच्छा, ये भी इसमें आ रहा था कि सुशांत हीरोइन और आप रिया को हीरोइन फिर
वाली फिल्म जो है इसमें रिया है।
You know, we are not a banana republic and we cannot let this country become a banana republic. No matter how aggressive you lie, no matter with how much conviction you lie, a lie will ultimately be caught out. Even if you leave aside the testimony of Rhea Chakraborty in that interview we did in India Today and look at Rumi Jaffrey, the director of the film for which he was apparently given 15 crore rupees, 15 crore rupees that Rhea Chakraborty apparently stole from her boyfriend because she is Vishv Kanya, because she's a gold digger, because she's a woman out to get her boyfriend's money. Well, if that money never went into that account, how could it possibly have been stolen? One lie of Gobel's lies smashed to smithereens on this India Today Newstrack broadcast.